Hello, and welcome to my Cybermen tier list video. Now, I previously did Dalek 1, and it wasn't the greatest, as, I did fumble my words quite a lot, and I didn't make the list myself. So in this one, I decided to rectify that by making the list myself. I've included, I'm pretty sure, every on-screen difference in a Cybermen, including some extras. I haven't included any comic or audio kind of things, but yeah, they're not important for now. So I guess we'll start off with the Mondasian Cybermen from the 10th planet. I think I'm going to put them in great. No, good. And the reason is, yes, they're classic. Yes, they're kind of iconic, but the costumes aren't very good. You can see the eyes, the cloth's shoddily put on, some of them aren't even really done very well, which, even though, they're background characters, still. But it does also have some really, really good qualities, like the hands are human, and it looks really, really creepy. And the sing-song voice, how they just open their mouth and it comes out, and creepy stuff. But also the chest unit, which is really, really bulky, and I cannot imagine what the actors were going through. Yeah, I think good's alright. It is really a product of its time. Very glad that they updated it. Next up, the Moonbase / Tomb of the Cybermen. Great design. Patrick Troughton era Cybermen. All of them except for one. Really, really nice design, especially the Moonbase ones. Chest unit smaller now. Really, really nice. Skin tight suit is a little bit baggy, so it's not completely skin tight. We'll get onto that later. Handlebars, really, really good. We see the first appearance of the letterbox mouth, which is really nice, and of course the light on top of the head, really, really good. Overall, it's a nice design, it's quite fluid, it feels human. That's the best bit. It doesn't feel like a robot. It definitely feels more robotic, but it's more human. It's not more human, it is still human. You can still tell that that used to be a person, and probably under there still is. Next up, the Cyber Controller from Tomb of the Cybermen. I'm gonna put this in good, but I'm going to put it above 10th planet. And the reason is, I don't really like the brain. I think that it's nice, it's a neat concept, and it's been continued, and I'm glad that it has. But it doesn't look very good in this story. But it's also very, very creepy Cybermen. I mean, they don't have a chest unit, it shows authority. They've got nice little golf balls and tubes on them. And, the letterbox mouth. So creepy. So creepy. And also the voice. Brilliant Cybermen. Do you know what? We'll put it in great. Next up, Wheel in Space. Instantly bottom tier. So bad it's got its own tier. Now, this is nothing on the actors, but that skin tight suit does not help them at all, does it? No, it doesn't. Especially judging by how it's so close to their skin, and the chest unit doesn't help it either. And they've got wires wrapped around them, and the end of part 1 with a cliffhanger, their voice is awful. Oh god, I'm so glad that they rectified that bit, but also the fact that it's lost means I don't have a connection to it like I do the rest of the designs. So it doesn't really help it. But it was the first design to come up with the teardrop eye, which, I gotta give them credit for that. But it's also got the teardrop mouth, something which I'm glad that in the Invasion Cybermen they removed. So an excellent Invasion, instantly amazing. Brilliant looking design, it's minimal, they've got the handlebars right, they've got the earmuffs on the side, and of course they've got the light, but also they've got the teardrop eye, which instantly puts it above the Moonbase Cybermen. Both beautiful designs though. Now for the Revenge of the Cybermen. I'm gonna put it in great, just below the controller, because I really, really like the design, especially with the handlebars and how it's got that kind of, those discs around it. It looks really, really nice. I don't know what it's personally called, but it's really, really good. Especially the earmuffs as well. It's basically just the Invasion Cybermen, but the weapon, I think that's the best bit. Especially how they can walk and just effortlessly kill people. It's brilliant, honestly, spectacular. Like, in that story, they just walk up to people, they touch their heads, boom, knocked down, lost complete control of their legs. And also the wires around the body, they're not as shoddily put on anymore. It's not with a proper 60s budget. We're now in the 70s. Tom Baker's era. The show's got a proper good budget, and they can actually afford to have really well put together costumes. And I think it's quite good that they managed to get 3 or 4 of them as well. Next up, Cyber Leader version. Instantly above it as same reasons as the last one, but I just like the black better. Black on a Cyberman always works because black and silver is a perfect combination. Best shown on Daleks as well, but only really if the silver's the secondary colour. The exact opposite of Cyberman. Next up, Earthshock design. I'm going to put that in amazing. I absolutely love the Earthshock design. Reasons, I love the handlebars. I think that they look quite good. Instead of having the light on top now, they've got this weird little SD card kind of thing. I mean, it's not SD card, but you know what I mean. And also the mouth. God, they're frowning, but especially on the David Banks design, Cyber Leader. Oh, wow. The fact that you can see the mouth moving, there's a person under there, there's a skull. Also got the chest unit, that works a lot better. Whereas it's one whole integration. It's not held together on wires, it's like a, oh god. I don't know what you call it, I can't, completely forgotten, but yeah, it's more seamless, it looks better, it's probably better for the actors as well, and the helmet, especially when it gets blown up, that is lovely. David Banks design, instant excellent tier, love that design, same as the last one, but in this one it's got a clear mouth, meaning you can see his mouth moving, really really creepy. David Banks' voice, especially when he goes, excellent, brilliant. And of course, black handlebars, instantly up there. Next up we got the Cybermen in the sewers from Attack of the Cybermen. The Scout, or is it the... yeah, I think it's the Scout. Ooh, yeah, I think we'll put it just above the Earthshock. Even though we don't get many images of it, and we only have, I think, one in the sewers, and one of it in the TARDIS. I like it. The all-black design works really well on this compared to Daleks. And it completely fits the aesthetic. I mean, Cybermen are in the sewers. They're going to want some recon. And what's the best way to do that in a dark sewer? Just paint it all black. It's such a shame that we didn't get to see more of it in other stories. The Attack of the Cybermen Cyber Controller. I'm going to put this... yeah, we'll put it in lower good. Now, I like the design when it comes to the elements it's taken from the Earthshock Cyberman, but I don't like, one, the bulbous head, which, yeah, it does show the fact that it is the same cyber controller as the one in Tomb, but it's also got no handlebars either, and that's something that I don't like, especially on this Cyberman. On the Tomb of the Cyberman one, it works perfectly. On this one, it doesn't, because it does feel like there's something missing, since those are completely different head sculpts. This one doesn't feel right at all. Not at all. And also nothing to the actor, but he's really thick on his waistline. No, that's awful, that's awful. Except the Silver Nemesis Cybermen. Now, most people hate these designs, but honestly, I do really like them. Because it is essentially just the Earthshock version, but silver, and I like it. And also the chest unit's clear in the middle, which I also like. It's nice to see what's inside, which, yeah, granted, it's not much, but, you know, it's all these little design features. I really, really like them. Especially on these guys. They're literally just a silver version. I like that better. And of course, same reasons as the previous David Banks one. Excellent. Next up, a very little known one, but I guess it's probably got more traction recently. The Dark Dimension Cybermen. I'm going to put these in... I can't be too good with it, but I can't be too harsh either. I'm going to put them in mid-great, because essentially the concept behind the Dark Dimension ones was, for the 30th anniversary, obviously they did Dimensions in Time, but they were going to do a story called The Dark Dimension, later retitled Lost in the Dark Dimension, where the 4th Doctor on the Faros project, instead of regenerating, he just completely out of the blue died. Which, not a very good story, but... well, plotline, but later on what they'd do is they'd have the 4th Doctor and his previous selves team up together, well, it's 5 in ones, team up together to try and correct the timeline, and it would be really, really good story with those kinds of Cybermen, which I think it's been nicknamed the Cyber Commander. Absolutely creepy. Gives me chills every time I see it. The long fingernails, the skeletal structure. It's essentially just the Earthshock variant, but scary. And honestly, it is a bit weird though how they were saying about, apparently they were going to be like Wolverine, so they'd have knives coming out of their knuckles. Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous, but then again, they didn't have the budget for it. But yeah, such a creepy design. Absolutely love it. But yeah, I say we'll keep it there. We'll keep it there. Next up, the Cybus design. I'm gonna put it above the moon base, but below the invasion. The reason for that is these designs to me. If you ask someone about the Cybermen, they'll think of this design because it's so iconic nowadays. This is what the Cybermen look like to people now. In the classic series, they'd probably say the moon base. No, they'd say Earthshock design. But nowadays, you got this Cybus design. They came back with power, and they look fantastic. Now, I think I saw in Ace Creeper's video on the same kind of tier list, he said that he didn't like how they're branded Cybermen. Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, I don't like the fact that they're Cybermen, but, run by Apple. Yeah, it doesn't really help. But that's kind of something that they rectify with the 12th Cyber Legion. But overall, lovely looking designs. They look like completely like metal, like the newer Daleks do. Teardrop eyes there. The mouth, the mouth's pretty creepy as well. The voice, Nicholas Briggs does it perfectly. Oh yeah, beautiful design, absolutely fantastic. Next, Cyber Controller, better version of the Cybus version. I like how it's got all of the wires sticking out of it, the pipes going into the throne. But the fact that it's got a throne, I mean, Cyberman with a throne, never seen that before. The light up eyes, those look really good. An exposed brain casing, that is a nice feature that they've got. It shows us intelligence. Well, a bit like what the other controller designs try to go for, but this one actually works. And also the Cybus, I'm fine with it having the Cybersoul since it is John Lumick, and he probably would want to do that to himself. But yeah, overall, basically just better version of the Cybus. Next up, Cyber Leader. I'm going to put it below the controller since it doesn't have as much personality, but it is literally just like black handlebars version. It is nicer than the normal Cybus versions that just have black handlebars, but it can't be the controller. Next up, Cyberwoman. Ah, god, terrible. Torchwood originally had this thing where they try to make things adult themed just because, and that's best reflected with this design. I mean, come on, guys. Like, just give her some armor instead of that. Honestly, I'm so glad that only appeared once, because yes, it was a novelty. It was use it once, never again. Thank God. And of course, Chibnall wrote the episode, so. But yeah, it is a good episode, but that design, nah. Next up, the Cyber Lord from the next Doctor. Yeah, I'll put it up there. No, actually. Yeah, there. I love the Cyber Lord design. Absolutely brilliant. I love the fact that the faceplate's black, how the whole handlebars are black, and also around the handlebars and the light on top, they're all black as well. And of course, exposed brain casing. It's a beautiful looking design. It looks spectacular. Yeah, it's the better version of the Cyber Controller and the Cyber Leader mixed together. And I'd also say it's essentially what the Revenge of the Cybermen Leader mixed with the Cyber Controller would look like if they were using the colours, and really, really works here. Except the 12th Cyber Legion version instantly put you above the Cybus because it's not branded. That's the only real reason. Essentially, it is the exact same design. But yeah, it doesn't really appear much. Yeah, I've already said my stuff about it. Same thing with Cyber Lord. It's not a branded version. Looks nicer, although it's not as well used. It only appears once, and that's a real shame. Next up, the Broken Cybermen from Closing Time. Ooh. I think that these designs look really, really good, and the only reason is because even though the episode itself some of the logic's a bit off, especially how the Cybermen are defeated with love and overload their emotional inhibitors. It doesn't make any sense, because then they'd never be able to invade a planet, would they? Someone hears their kid screaming, oh no, and Cybermen explode. Doesn't work, does it? I like how it's left ambiguous whether they're 12 Cyber Legion variants or Cybers, which is quite nice, as it leaves it up to the imagination. But they've got exposed wires, cracked face plates, cracked bodies, broken limbs. It looks really, really nice, and it works quite well with the design. The other, especially with this design, if it was to go with any other design, I don't think they'd be able to pull it off as well as the Cybers one's good, because these are proper metal designs. You can tell it looks like metal. It probably feels like metal, but obviously it's plastic, which is something that the Nightmare designs don't really have going for them, but I'll get onto them later. Next up, Cyber Slaves from Blood of the Cybermen. Ooh, God. Now I do like them. They are novelty. They don't only appear in the game, which is quite good, but they're interesting. That's what they are. They're interesting. Essentially, what happened to the plot is Blood of the Cybermen. If you haven't played it, Cyber Slaves are infected with a virus that's appeared in multiple cyber stories, Cybermen stories like the Moonbase and also Revenge of the Cybermen. They appear in those, and the virus in this one essentially slowly transforms people into Cybermen. But in this one, they turn them into Cyber Slaves who can shoot electricity from their fingers. Pretty cool, yeah, but in some of the levels it is pretty easy to avoid them. And honestly, in one of them they're saying, oh, we need to be really quiet, Amy. You could just run past all of them, and then later on they just start screaming across the room. Like, good God, Matt Smith, contradicting yourself, aren't you? But yeah, really nice design. I like how they still look like they're human, like they've got the GSO jumpsuits, and also the tilt of the head, that's really creepy. And the way that they walk, they just stagger around instead of uniformly marching like our next design, which I'm gonna put there. And the reason is the exact same reason as the other Cybers designs, but I really like the plating in the middle, as it's not like the other ones. Instead, it's literally just the face of a Cyberman. But etched into the design, and it actually works really, really well for it, which is the best bit. But yeah, I mean, they're quite threatening this game, but they do only show up at the end, which is the issue, and they don't really do much. Someone that does kind of do much is the Cyber Lord in the game. Essentially just a better version of these two, because he's got the different logo in the middle, which instead of being blank or Cybers is just face painting. Next, Nightmare and Silver designs. Now I'm going to put them in great, but very, very low great, because the reason is Cyber's designs, they look like metal because of how they were layered, and of course it looked like reinforced steel. These guys look like plastic because they're so smooth. They want to be Iron Man, but they have got the teardrop eye, which is a good thing. They're like the Wheel in Space version, but without the teardrop mouth as well, which is quite nice. The handlebars are pretty good. I like the chest unit in the middle, but the upgrade thing is a bit ridiculous, like upgrade in progress as soon as it gets shot once. That doesn't work out properly, and of course they've got super speed now. How are you going to defeat that? They could probably kill a Dalek, to be honest. Honestly, don't know how they're not used properly in any other story. They do use those abilities in one story, never again. I've forgotten the wooden Cybermen, haven't I? Hold on 1 second.
A few moments later.
And we're back. I know that I said I wanted this video to be more uniform and well made, but God, this is the second time I've done it. The first time I actually had to stop recording because I forgot the Cyber controller here. But never mind, on Cyber Brigadier. It's got black handlebars, even if it's just the corners, it still looks nicer. And of course, good to see the Brigadier again, even if it is really, really sad. Danny Pink. Yeah, I don't like it. It doesn't look right to me. I mean, I'm sure that not everyone disabled their emotional inhibitor and just said, no, I don't want to forget emotions. There's no way that he was the only one. And then somehow, if you really want to watch about why I don't like it, and why some of the points about why it's terrible, just watch Mr. TARDIS his review on Nightmare and Silver. Dark Water. Next up, the wooden variant. Terrible. No, it's not worse than Cybermen, that's a bit harsh. No, meh, but it's worse than Danny Pink. No, Danny Pink's worse. Yeah, I prefer this thing. It's quite nice to see a wooden Cyberman. I mean, minimal technology, flamethrower is quite nice, it's quite a funny gag. And they're using show. I'm glad they only used it once, as let's be honest, they probably wouldn't be able to use it again. Unless it was like some kind of planet with a... Well, actually no, a planet like, oh, what am I thinking of? The great city of Exelon. Yeah, Exelos, with the Daleks, how they couldn't use their weapons. Next up, the World Enough in Time Dr. Falls version of the Mondasian Cybermen. Instantly up there. Now, these are a more modern... I mean, you've probably seen the episode, but they're a more modern version of the original Mondasian designs, and that really, really helps them. Because the best part about it is that the fact that they've done that, they've made it more modern, they've made it more bearable for the actors to wear, it's more tidy, well made, they've got the budget for it, and it just overall looks a lot better. Like the cloth mouth, the Nicholas Briggs does a really, really good sing-song voice, chest unit's smaller, more compact, and the cables and the pipes and stuff, lovely looking things, especially if you watch them. With the grating on them, lovely looking thing. But yeah, really, really nice design. Next up, Ashad, the Lone Cyberman. Ooh. Now, I still don't really understand exactly what he's meant to be, like what variant of the Cyberman. I get that he's meant to look a bit like the Nightmare and Silver designs. But he doesn't at the same time. It's a completely different headset. Unless... Oh yeah, he's meant to look like the Warrior ones, isn't he? Oh, never mind then. I thought you just realised that now. Oh, shows like a bit of a fan. But Shad, he had loads of potential in The Haunting of Villa Dodadi. Best... Diodati? Best episode of the series. He was really, really good in that. Quite really, really creepy moments in that one. Especially with his reveal, how he's just sitting above the lake. Oh, brilliant that. The whole thing with the Siberiad, kind of interesting. Lost interest in the time as children. And then the Master showed up and basically stole his spotlight, and he was reduced to nothing. And then the Death Particle showed up for some reason. Oh, he was really badly mishandled. I don't know what kind of drugs Chibnall was smoking, but come on, man. You had such potential for such a good Cyberman. Such a good character, even. He did really well in his first episode, really well in his second, completely wasted in his third. Next up, the Cyber Drones from Ascension. I think they're quite funny. Yeah, that's about it. I think that they're quite funny. I mean, it makes sense that the Cybermen would just use helmet versions of them, but yeah, I think they look really, really cool. Especially with the drone shots that they use in the episode. Oh, it looks fantastic when they're flying around. And the laser shots and whatnot, and it's quite funny to look at. Next up, the Cyber Warriors. Ascension Cybermen times Child. I'd say that they're a better version of the Invasion Cybermen. I mean, I'm going to put them above. No. They look really, really good. They're a better version. They're essentially how the Mondasian variant was an updated version of this one. It's an updated version of the Invasion one. Already a fantastic design, but done better. It looks like metal now. It looks really, really nice. The helmet's well sculpted, well made. The light on top works properly. And of course the spikes on the shoulder, which you can't see in the image, but they've got spikes on the shoulder, which really, really fits it. And now the weapons are in the arms, which is also a staple. Yeah, lovely, lovely design. And finally, we'll finish off with the Cyber Master design. I honestly think that the Cyber Master design is really, really nice. I don't know if it's because I like Time Lord stuff, or... Oh, no, I can't do that to the Cyber Lords. Nah, but genuinely, I love them. I think they look really good. Other than the mouth, which I'm not a big fan of, I think the mouth's a bit too much. The teardrop eye being underneath, I'm completely fine with that. I think it looks great. And also the Gallifreyan headdress? Headdress. Looks really, really good on it. And I think it fits it perfectly. And also how they're wearing capes. But they're also completely unstoppable, which I think is a bit off. I mean, it makes sense why they'd be able to regenerate. But does it take into account the amount of lives that the body's been through? I mean, it'd be pretty useless to have like a bunch of Cybermasters, an army of them that are literally on their final regeneration, and just as soon as they get destroyed, they die. So I doubt that the Master was able to reverse the regeneration limit. Because, well, yes, he's very, very smart, but he's not going to be able to do that. But yeah, I think it's a really, really nice design. It's essentially just a royal version of the Cybermen, a Gallifreyan version. What they went for, they did. You probably noticed a lack of the cyber guards that accompanied a Shad. Couldn't really find a very good image of them, and they do look just like the closing time version with more rust. Not really anything individual personality-wise, but they do carry the Preacher's big energy guns. Don't know the name of them. I don't think they have a name. But yeah, that's the only interesting thing about them. But yeah, this is my list. I'll put a link in the description to this list, so you can check it out for yourself. Do this. Send me your replies if you want. You don't have to. But also just have a look. Put it in the comments down below. Yeah, thanks for watching.